Okay, I get asked about doing these a lot. It's essentially the same as an acrylic pour. I have 3 paints, red, white, blue. Usually I use all Artist Law for all of these, but I'm out of most because I just did 2 of these. So, I always like to start with my darkest color, which is the blue. Squirt it into the cup. You need a lot of paint, so make sure that you have a lot. Then I go with some red. Then I add some white. Make sure you shake them. And this is acrylic ready to pour. Make sure it says ready to pour. Let's put some more white actually, because that last one really popped when I did it. Some more red. And just for comparison, I have half of a toddler cup. No, my kids will not use this again. It'll be thrown out. But I have about half right now filled with paint. I'll start with this. Sometimes I might need more. So, start the turner, and you just gently drip back and forth, up and down the entire tumbler. I'll speed this up when I post it so you don't have to watch all of this. This happens to be one of my biggest sellers, and especially when it comes to sports themes. I'll show you how to do the rim. I kind of just like let it drip along that, and then at the end I'll grab some paint with my finger and I'll just kind of rub it on there to make sure that there's no clear spots. You want to make sure that the whole entire tumbler gets covered. And just go back and forth, no pattern. I like going side to side because when you start to just go up and down with it, it makes weird vertical lines that don't always look right. So I kind of like to just keep the same rhythm. And it looks like I will probably run out of paint, so I'll show you how to fix that issue. Make sure you get a lot on the bottom so it drips and covers it. I'll show you something with the bottom too after. Okay, and now here's a perfect example. Half cup, I'm out of paint. So, quickly refill. Start with my darkest. Oops, had a little accident there, I'll get that after. And my red, I'm almost out of red. You go through a lot of paint like this. A ridiculous amount actually. Especially when it's your #1 seller. That hopefully should be enough to finish it. It doesn't matter, you can just start wherever you left off. I'm gonna keep some of that red though, because there's not much in there. And the best part about these, 2 cups will never look the same. They'll be similar, but they'll never have the exact same pattern. Make sure you get all the leftover parts that have stuff showing like there. And it will essentially cover itself, but you still want to make sure that you have pretty good coverage on it. Hit the red at the bottom. And when you get to the last part, when it's pretty much covered, if you see, like right now, since I was running low on red, not a lot of red showed up. So I just put red in here and that's it. Bring it down, get some on the bottom, and you can kind of just go through it and it'll get accents and it will mix through. It won't just sit like that on top, it will swirl through. The bottom's the hard one because you want to make sure that there's enough on there, but sometimes I'll show you what happens. When it rotates, it does get covered, but if you hear screaming in the background, I have 5 children, and they are probably wreaking havoc in the playroom. Okay, so that looks like it'll cover. So, now I'll show you. Take my glove, and there's a ton of excess paint here in the tray now. So put a little bit on your finger and just kind of hold it over the rim to make sure that all spots get covered, because it's really hard to just drip a straight line. I've tried a ton of times and it really doesn't work out well. But you can just drag it, because the top, even if it blends together, it's the very top. It doesn't matter. I've done about 40 of these, of this red, white, and blue color. It was an order for a USO. Okay, so now, look at the bottom, make sure that there's complete coverage. I'll show you something with the bottom. So this is how this one will look right now. It will keep moving and moving and moving and changing, so it won't stay like that. And then the bottom, see how it swirls like that? Sometimes you want to keep an eye on it. Every maybe 20 minutes, it'll get a big glob. If that happens, just lightly touch it with a stick and it'll flatten out. But essentially, this is how this one looks at the moment. I'll show you the other one that's spinning, which is this one. This is how much it's changed already. And this started just like the other one. And then, if you see also, you have a bunch of paint in the bottom. Sometimes I'll put canvas under it instead, and it will get a pretty little painting. But that's how you do it. Super easy. Lots of paint wasted. Don't mind my mold.